Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto was created by the Otsutsuki clan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Got All Grammar Powers Before the Chunin exam, guys, and enjoy that. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 2. Yes, that's right, if you're new, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King 2, Anime King 3. Which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, time seemed to slow down, as everything came to an abrupt stop. Everything was just stuck. Rage. So much rage exploded from Naruto. Hiruzen, Minato, everyone turned their gaze. Snappy had snapped back into senses once she felt it, as she jumped to Kushina's aid and grabbed her and moved towards one of the nearby buildings, so she could work on her wounds. Minato flashed out as he started, but he was stopped by Orochimaru. Orochimaru made a big mistake. He pissed off the fastest man in the world, but not only that, he pissed off a being that was not supposed to be here. And Naruto erupted. The Raikage found his ninjas being attacked, so he told him to retaliate. As they started to defend and help Konoha in the attack, Yujito watched in awe as Naruto flew. He then moved towards the tail beasts that were out of the village. One by one, Naruto destroyed the 4 or 5 in one tails. Starting out with the 4, Naruto beat the thing so badly that the tail beast was down on the ground. As Naruto had flew right into the mouth of the tail beast and destroyed from the inside, then swallowed the entire bean chakra. He then proceeded to do the same thing with the 5 tails. He then went after Gaara. Gaara stood no chance. Temari and Kankuro were knocked unconscious, so they did not see the fate of their brother, as he was annihilated. Naruto did not leave anyone any chance. A dome was erupted by Yamato to keep the reanimations in. Minato was furious. His rage was palpable. He started to attack Orochimaru with everything that he got. The speed was just too much as Orochimaru was being hit from left to right. Rasengan, attacks electricity. As Minato did something that Hiruzen should have done a long time ago. He erased the snake Sanin from reality, killing him right there and then. As Naruto raised his hands up to the sky, his eyes scanning the entire village of Konoha, the clouds became dark, pitch black. As he then lowered his hands, electricity started to drop from the heavens. Stone and sand ninjas started to scream out. Stone ninjas as well, as they were being electrocuted one after another. Naruto's body started to steam as he exerted himself. He pushed himself a bit farther by, allowing the tail beasts to reform, solidify as they surrounded the village. The ninjas that tried to flee were stomped on and crushed by the 9, the 5, the 1, and the 4 tails. They stood no chance. They were being eviscerated. As the place became problematic, the ninjas started to drop to their knees begging to surrender, those that didn't want to die. Seeing that this was out of their league right now and Orochimaru was dead, this was bad, like really bad. But that was not only the case right there and then. Things became even more problematic when Naruto reached down. As he started to walk, ninjas started to be turned into dust. He removed the chakra from the first and the second Hokage. It was then that his body finally gave in. But despite him going unconscious, the tail beasts still remained. Minato and the others were frightened. Afraid to approach it, the people of Konoha were scared. But to their surprise, the beasts were not harming any Konoha ninjas. Minato made that known when he went up to the Nine Tails, who looked down towards him before it looked back up. They were protecting the village. Naruto was brought to the hospital. A few days passed, as Naruto was unconscious for a long while. It had Kushina reminding of when she was, well, in that state back when they were just born. And Naruto was just unconscious for so long. Her body was still in a tender place. If it wasn't for Naruto's help, she would have surely died, as a lot of her organs had got damaged. The surgery was hours long. But Tsunade came out, saying that she would be fine. But she would have to be bed rest for a long while. Even her Uzumaki healing ability and her longevity, they couldn't stand up to almost being torn into half. But after extensive work, she would be fine. As Tsunade did not see any future default or anything else. While that was going on, Minato was speaking to the third and Jiraiya about the events of what took place. Surely by now, news had returned back to Oniki. Before Naruto had summoned the tail beasts, some of his stone ninjas had flee. Oniki was sure that this wouldn't have to involve him. He was sure that the power that he had would be able to wipe out Konoha, but that was wrong. He was nearby, but just not in the attack. But that was not all though. The Akatsuki heard about this. The Raikage returned back to his village, but he offered his ninjas to help out Konoha with their sign of peace. Minato could already see where this was going. The Raikage witnessed something that downright frightened him: the power of Naruto. It even frightened Minato, as he never knew that Naruto was that powerful. Well, he was surely now that the Raikage would want an alliance between them. Yujito came to the hospital, as Kushina was sleeping. Naruto was awake now. She sliced him a bit on the cheek, saying that she marked him, and he was hers. But that was not only the case. On a strange planet, the same woman that was looking at the man with the star point eyes, just like Naruto, she spoke to the doctor. As the doctor told her that he would be using her as leverage, as she was the only one that could get him in a state where he could be captured. The man's name was revealed to be Otsutsuki, as he was getting close to finding Naruto. So yeah guys, that's basically last what I thought. If you guys can switch across the blades, check it out for yourself. What do you say we get right into the new episode, guys? We begin this new episode with Otsutsuki. The man sat in a chair. As he clicked, a few of the letters on the keyboard in front of him. Pressing the red button, the entire screen lit up. A large, wide frame in front of him that seemed almost spectral. As he looked at it, on the screen there was nothing but destruction. The place was burning. Hot molten lava was coming out of the ground. The sky was dark. The heavens were screaming with thunder. As Ozo sat back, still wearing that lab coat of his, as he had a pair of glasses over his eyes. As he was looking towards the monitor, on said monitor, there was a person, a single person in the midst of all this chaos. There he stood, long white flowing hair, his eyes a 7-pointed star. He was wearing a red and black bodysuit. He had a staff in his hand, a long metal staff. Hundreds, maybe thousands of strange beings were rushing towards him. These beings were quite funny looking. For one thing, they had 4 arms. They had horns on top of their head. And they had some strange uniform on. If you would put this to any other planet, they would be like the police force. They had strange pistols as they started to fire them in rapid blaster. The man in the center, which Ozo simply named Death. It has a way of demeaning him, a way of showing him that he doesn't have a mind of himself, for him to live up what he truly is. The beams of aliens start to fire off several of their pistol. Blue light shooting from it at intense speed. But Death moved. Using his staff as he twirled it, he deflected everything. He brought the staff up and then bring it down. The whole section that they were on just shattered. So much force with one swing. It was then that he jumped up in the sky. He threw the staff straight up before he held out his hand. Said staff morphed into a gigantic weapon of death. The thing was so large it encompassed the entire area. He then brought his arm down as the thing came down and hit the ground. A cataclysmic explosion went off. Death threw his head back as he started to laugh, enjoying the chaos that happened beneath him. As Ozo flipped through several other taping, as he watched planet after planet got destroyed, got demised, got eviscerated. The Otsutsukis were a being of people that wanted to be perfect. Well, not all of them. The ones that came from the noble race. Much like any other planet, there were few that, well, were beneath the others. Think of Momoshiki and Kinshiki relationship for hand. Kinshiki served Momoshiki. Momoshiki was of a higher grade than Kinshiki. As they go by the royal status, those that were beneath them were to call them Sama, or Senpai even, if they were trained under them. Well, not morally trained, just to exert their power, to learn how to control it. Because Otsutsukis didn't really train, they found the act of training to be beneath them. After all, with their pills and with the fruit, they grew strong without even needing to put their body through any intense working out. And thus it had been for a very long time. In the past there was a man that was able to rise above it all. He had ate so much of the God Tree fruit that he was able to ascend to a form of godhood, breaking past his normal human physical limit. He left his body behind, and his power spread through the universe, and he was just no more. Shibai Otsutsuki, the one that all of them dreamed to be on the same level as, were the ones that fought, that is. They were citizens, people that didn't really fight here. People that live below the standard. Over the years there has been many that flee. They fled from the regime. Some of them that went AWOL, such as Kaguya Otsutsuki and Ishiki Otsutsuki, that has not reported in back. So there was two causes there. Either they were dead or either they fled. They were not the first one to do so though. Many thought that the clan was holding them back, going out there to become a god on their own, leaving their houses. The clan was set up in houses. The higher the house, the higher the nobility, and Momoshiki was in one of the top houses. So that is why he looked down upon people like that. He saw them as scoundrels. He saw people that trained for power beneath him. He saw them as worthless. He couldn't even describe them in words. They were beneath him. Never in his wildest dreams he ever thought someone beneath him could hurt him. But the thing was, the Otsutsukis had enemies. A lot of enemies. After all, they were a race of alien beings that sucked planets dry. Some of these planets, warriors were able to escape and gone on to find a rebellion with several others that wanted the Otsutsuki's dead. They were spread all around. That is why they came together as a group, all of them for once. Momoshiki not, well, discouraging them. Well, not as much. And they came to him and several other of the top research Otsutsukis. Yes, they had different fields. Well, they decided to build something that will find their enemies. And thus he was born, Death. A being that knew no comprehension of feelings. A being that did not hesitate. A being that did not need to stop. A being that just need to cause pure chaos and destruction. Using some of Shibai Otsutsuki cells, and not to mention different relics from the Otsutsukis, they were able to create a being that was completely loyal. Until that change, there was only one person that treated him differently. There was only one person that didn't see him as what they saw him as. That woman, Akira Otsutsuki. She was not the only one that was soft. There were several others. And to be weak here was like being a parasite. She actually talked to the thing like it was human. At first, there was little to no conversation, but as the time went on, he noticed a change between the being that was meant to destroy. It started to speak differently, act differently. It started to show remorse. And he realized that he created a failure. So he opted to have it destroyed. But when he tried to do that, him and the other research scientists, well, it slaughtered each and every one of them, leaving only him. Several of the higher ups tried to stop it, but, well, they were killed in the attack, in most gruesome fashion to be exact. Momoshiki made things worse by calling him a abomination, a tool. Those words seemed to stick with him, as it got him more angrier. He threatened to rip this entire planet apart, and the only way to stop him was to use Akira. So Ozo had injected her with a powerful parasite that would eat away at her insides. He was the only one that had the cure. Akira was so angry, but, well, she couldn't fight the upper heads. She would be ripped apart instantly. And it was the only way he had assured her. And Akira knew if she turned against her fellow Otsutsuki, she would die. So, he stopped. Death came to a stop. Even though he was a bit worn out after fighting all of them, he could still go a few rounds, but he came to a stop. So that saved a lot more of Otsutsuki's life. And thus, he forced him to give her the cure, which he did. Once he did though, he had already injected death. He then proceeded with the help of the others to rip his body apart. But the thing was, they could not exactly kill him 100%. He could not be permanently killed. So they had to lock him away. And they have kept him away for years upon years upon years, going into centuries. But someone for the past decades have studied all of his routines. So they were able to bypass all of his security and enter his lab and free that abomination. The body of death was destroyed, so he couldn't reform his body back. But he could take the body of another. And depending on the circumstances, he could regain his full power. And he would want revenge. Akira was the only way that they saw they could stop him easily. But Ozo felt like Akira would kill herself if this was to happen again. But Death wouldn't allow that. But he had to keep an eye on her. She's grown attached to that thing, like he was actually one of them, which he was not. He was nothing but an abomination. So for now, he just had to keep on working. That was the history of the Otsutsukis. That was the history of death. He knew that he was out there somewhere in the universe, but he could not hide for too long. He will find him. It's only a matter of time. He could not hide for too long. He was working away as we speak to find him, and when he does, oh, when he does, this time he will fix his mistake. Instead of destroying or locking it away, he will create something. He chuckled to himself, not finishing that last part of the sentence. Oh, just you wait, Death. I'll show you once again that you're my property. You're not alive, you're a thing that is supposed to be used, he thought to himself. Meanwhile, that was going on. The same person that was known as Death was currently on his feet. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the man that was destroyed in his previous life, because he didn't want the one person to treat him like a normal person to die. So he gave up everything, and he's been locked away for so long. But now he was free. He knew that if he was in Akira's life, they would use her against him, and he didn't want her to suffer. So it's best if he just stayed away from her. And here he was now on Earth, in the elemental nation, living a new life. It has been a full week since the attack on Konoha. From the sound, the sand, and also the stone. A lot of things has happened since then. One thing, Minato had sent a message towards the Tishikage. Well, not really a message, more like a demand. As Minato had made it perfectly clear that he will be sending compensations for all the problems that his ninjas cause in the village. Otherwise, he wouldn't like it. Minato was a calm man. He never liked to resort to violence. But even him have to sometimes agree with someone like Danzo. Danzo Shimura, a cryptic, twisted man. While he was dark, he only wanted the best for Konoha. And he was right about certain things. These bastards. These people really believe that Konoha has gotten so weak that they could attack the village. They started something they could not finish. Now their shinobis were dead. Minato had asked for a hefty sum. A price that was just beyond ridiculous. Just to hurt the Tishikage. Knowing that the threat of war was imminent if he did not. And his tail beasts were gone. At the moment, Oniki's office was a mess. Maybe it was because he kept on trashing his office every time in rage. As the man stood there with his large nose, his hands curled into fists, as he was floating off the ground, the Tishikage looked like quite a short fellow, but he was a dangerous person. Don't let his size fool you. He was beyond piss. Someone entered his office, Gramps. Again, as he turned to see Kurosaki, his beloved granddaughter. But sometimes she get on his nerves, calling him old and this and that, and this was not the time. This is not the time, he said to her. I know it is not, she said. But what are we going to do about Konoha? We really aren't going to pay them that much, are we? What do you expect me to do, he said. As she looked at him. No, I'm truly asking you. You say you want to become Tishikage one day. Tell me. We made a choice. We decided to see the fall of Konoha, but yet instead we fail. Oniki and a large sum of his troops was near to the border to provide backup for the troops that they sent in along with the Jinchurikis. But things went so crazy so quick. A few of his ninjas had came back, and that is when he had saw the tail beasts protecting Konoha. That scared the living hell out of him. Something that he didn't even expect, as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. When his ninjas came back with the news, it was shocking to him. His troops, he had lost so much in a blink of an eye. And it was said that it was caused by a mere boy. A child. The things that his ninjas told him was impossible. But over the past week, rumors spread like wildfire. The son of Minato Namikaze, Naruto Namikaze, a child that was able to create miracles, a child that was able to bend the heavens itself, a child that was able to annihilate forces with a wave of his hand, a child that had Bijus more than one under his control. The child was a monster, a being of devastating power. Oniki would be a fool not to believe the rumors from what he had witnessed with his own eyes. The things that he saw, not to mention the massive Bijus that were annihilating his ninjas and protecting the Konoha ninjas. There is no way that he could fight something like that, not to mention with his own Bijus being used against him. I think you should pay them. Oniki stopped dead in his tracks, turning his gaze toward his granddaughter, Kurosaki. Well, she might be a good candidate in the future for Tishikage. In terms of thinking things through, she kind of always went to the violent option. She was a proud stone ninja, never wanted Hidden Stone to fall. She would never do anything to betray her village, she would even give her life. So seeing her so calm and reserved, it piqued his interest as he looked towards her. Explain why I should, he said. I was there as well, she said. At first I was taken aback by what the ninja said as they were blabbering all about that. And then, when we saw those Bijus just popped up, they did not move, they just stood there, protecting Konoha. In the letter that you got, That bastard made it clear that if you decline these offers, that he will bring the full might of Konoha down on us. To exterminate the hidden stone, the bastard was just showing off, telling us to pick either our people or throw aside our pride. Basically, she said, she lowered her head. I love this village and I love my people. As much as I hate to say this, we have to surrender, because if we don't, we won't be able to stop them. We lost so much ninjas in the war. Even with 3 nations, Konoha was able to annihilate all 3 of them. Countless ninjas died and Konoha probably only lost a handful of shinobis because of that damn brat. I still have no idea how in common name that he was able to pull something like that off. How was something like that even possible? Like he's not even human. Power like that shouldn't be possible, she said, as she looked quite afraid as she thought about it. So if we don't do as they say, I don't think the hidden stone will remain standing. I know that you can be a hard ass sometime, Grandpa, she said, as Oniki frowned at that. And I too can be a hard ass as well. But I think we should surrender. Oniki released a long drawn out sigh. He dreaded the day that he accepted Orochimaru. The plans looked so good. The 3 nations ganging up to destroy Konoha. Konoha no longer possessed 9 tails. That enticed them to move forward his plans. But he made such a horrible, terrible mistake, which would haunt him for the rest of his time in office. So much of his people died. It was having a great toll on him. Despite not showing it being a strong leader, he knew when to submit. And right now he had to submit and deliver this immense amount of money with an apology otherwise. He lowered his head. You're right, he said, as his mind had already made up the conclusion, but he was just afraid to say it. As Kurosaki lowered her head as well. They had no idea what to do or what to even... They didn't know. At the Hidden Sand, the sister and brother was released. The last remaining relatives too, the Sabukuno family, Temari Sabukuno and Conqueror Sabukuno, they were the last relatives remaining. The position to take up the leadership of the Sand. Baki had survived the attack, only barely though. He was close to one of his subordinates who had pushed him out of the way. Baki's left arm had been completely eviscerated by the lightning. The Sand had been hit rather heavily, and it was taking a huge toll on their economy right now, because they need to get back to taking missions. But with the forces out like this, and not to mention with Konoha also demanding them to pay for their actions, literally, the Sand was gonna have to go through its bonds, the village bonds, to pay off Konoha so they wouldn't bring their wrath upon them. After breaking such a long-term alliance for so long, it was rather surprising that Minato did not just try to wipe them all out. They were always the weakest out of the Great Five. Despite being a hardened battle leader, Minato knew that there were several others that didn't want this war. Several others that would suffer if this war were to happen. Which Konoha would definitely come out on top. Children would die for meaningless cause. So he was going to give them an option and allow them to try and redeem themselves. They had accepted the terms rather quickly. But the Sand knew that they would always be kept at the arm's length if they didn't do anything. So they came up with a plan, which they would send back to Konoha soon enough. A marriage proposal. It was the only way for them to truly become the allies that they were in the past. Meanwhile, Akira, Mei Terumi, a rather beautiful red-headed woman. She was dressed in a blue dress. Her lips were just luscious, as there was just something stunning about her gaze as she sat in her chair. Kiri was not doing so well. The past couple of years has been chaos. There's been a civil war. Time and time they back off so each other did not have that much power over each other. But still Jaeger was pushing it. Jaeger wanted to wipe out all bloodline, but she and her people refused to let that happen. But they were losing. And if this were to happen, all of the bloodline that they had right now would be eviscerated. It was then that they got word that Konoha. What happened to them? Mei was shocked. As she looked over the report. Is this true? She said. My lady, said Ao, as he treated her with formality and respect, like a general should. I don't know how something like this is possible, seeing that he's merely a child, but from all the rumors and all the sightings, it is true. Mei couldn't believe it. How could someone so young have such power? Naruto Uzumaki no Mikaze, she thought to herself. Meanwhile that was going on, there was a dangerous meeting also taking place. So it's true then. A voice called out, as all of the people were in holograms. That little brat was able to annihilate so much and has several Biju under his control. How do we know that this information is not fabricated to just make Konoha look big? I mean, come on, he's just a kid. I'm afraid the information is right, Hidan. The voice of Zetsu came out. We confirmed it ourselves. It seems that the son of the fourth Hokage is something quite special. He was able to demolish countless ninjas the wave of his hand. He was able to bring forward the tail beasts with a simple yell, causing them to squash all ninjas that tried to escape. He was able to pull lightning from the heavens. He was able to split the earth where they stood. Single-handedly, he took on 3 tail beasts like they were nothing. And he also has the 9 tails under his control. What the hell? I thought when the tail beasts leave their host they died. How the hell are they outside of him? That I don't know. I know nothing about the child. That is where we're at a loss. The voice of their leader came out as he spoke his voice, demanding respect. This child is an enigma. A problem. I have no information nor Zetsu about him. Because of the recent event, he's been kept under lock and key. It will be a long while before he's shown back to the rest of the world. Such power would not stay silent for too long. The other nations, on the other hand, such as the Hidden Stone and the Sand, will pay dearly for what is about to come. Konoha will not let this slide. Soon enough they will have to submit, otherwise there will be a war. And as fool and battle-hardened as Oniki is, I don't believe that he will allow his people to get slaughtered, because at the moment he's without a tail beast. But then what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be going after these things. If one child possesses that power, if he can simply use a tail beast, how are we supposed to take them from him? Asked Sasori. As the leader was quiet for a few seconds. From what Zetsu has told me, the child attacks rain from long range, pulling lightning bolts from the sky. Fighting off tail beasts, his powers seem to be able to negate the literal essence of tail beasts. He's never fought a S-rank ninja before single-handedly. That is why we can't afford to send just 2 of you this time. This attack will have to be a surprise, quick and swift. And to have him on the ground within seconds so that we can get information from him where the tail beasts are. Because I doubt that they're all sealed inside of him. Something like that is highly unlikely. So you're gonna send all of us, asked Kakazu. For now we remain quiet. As Zetsu has informed you all, the child is basically in hiding. For now he's not being shown to the rest of the world. But they will not keep him locked away for too long. He will be brought forth, and that is when we will strike. For now Zetsu will continue to gather information on other tail beasts, so that we can have a hand to cover our bases once we choose to go up against him and Konoha, while you all focus on the child. I will handle Konoha by myself. For now, continue to bring money to the organization. Once you are resummoned, that is when we will strike. Do you understand? He said. They all nodded. Dismiss. And with that they were gone. Nagato Uzumaki opened his eyes as he sat in his mechanical walker. He had been using the body of Tendo to show the hologram. But the real Nagato here was red. His cheeks were sunken. He looked downright famished. He looked to his side where Konan stood. She had been quiet during the whole meeting. What is on your mind? He asked. As Konan looked at him, a look that he's never seen before. She looked afraid, but not for herself, for him. She's never given that look before. Since he had these powers since, he showed her that he's never lost a fight before, but yet. Why? Do you look at me like that? Have you lost faith in my abilities? Konan stepped forward as she looked at him. Without you, this whole operation fall apart. Konan, let me finish, she said, as her tone was almost pleading. Jiraiya of the Sanin. Snazzy of the Sanin. The red-hot habanero, with her sealing chains, will be incredibly hard to fight. Kakashi Hatake, Might Guy, who is known to possess the legendary taijutsu. And not to mention the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, a man that was able to single-handedly wipe out 1,000 ninjas within minutes. And now this child. Have you realized that Minato has 2 other kids? What if the both of them are just as powerful as well? But he just didn't allow them to show their power. What if he's keeping them in secret? We still have no idea how they're this powerful. To go up against all of that, the Akatsuki cannot stand that power. And what if the information gets leaked back to the Hinrin? What if we lose sight of what we're trying to do in the first place? Our people, to save them. Konan, his voice was stern. Your faith in your god has been wavering, he said. I understand your feelings, but you should have none of them. I told you once before, I will stop at nothing to see our plan succeed. No child, no man will stand in front of a god. I am done having this conversation. And until you reclaim your faith in me, I suggest that you keep watch over the village. But now I'm done talking, he said, cutting her off, as he turned his head, dismissing her. Konan sighed as she left sadly. Never has she ever second-guessed him, but yet, here she was second-guessing him. He was angry. Her words just angered him to no end. But Nagato didn't want to truly say what was angering him. Yes, Konan's words triggered something inside of him. The fear. Fear that he's never felt in a long time. Fear that his plans would not succeed. And he lashed out at her for no particular reason. With her just stating her fears. And there he was lashing out at her. He hated that he did that. But he's already locked in. And he had to keep his mind set on the goal of bringing eternal peace. That child. He needs to learn what makes him tick. Never in his life has he questioned the Rinnegan abilities. But now here he was, because of her words, that made him just so angry. But he shouldn't have lashed out like that at her. No, there's no time to think about her right now. He needs to achieve his dream. Nothing will stop him from achieving his dream. Back in Konoha, Naruto was getting a bit irritated as he sat in a chair. He was poked in the face. Once again he was poked in the face. And he was poked once again. And again. And again. As his eyes finally turned and focused on Mito, who was in front of him. She sat cross-legged on the table and she kept on poking him with a stick. Do you feel anything now? She asked. No, said Naruto. She poked him in the nose. How about now? No, said Naruto. She poked him once again. How about now? No, said Naruto. The next thing he knew, as he felt it coming but he didn't stop it, he was whacked over the head by one of the cushions. As Naruto snapped his gaze. What the hell, he said. Sorry, said Menma. I thought if I took a direct approach, that it would trigger something. You guys know that when I get angry, my power kind of just, like, boom, right? So, you guys want to get hurt? Well, not really, said Mito, but we just want to see it. So come on, just dig deep. We want to exactly know what it is. I mean, if you have it, we must have it too. Naruto hated lying to them, but he had to. He couldn't really tell them where his power came from. So he told them that it was a rage once again. But that moment when he had turned it on, when he saw what happened to Kushina, it took a longer while to turn off. So much longer. And he was able to defeat, well, so many people. Rumors around the village was so chaotic. There was countless, thousands of people that came at the Namikaze estate. They want to pay their respect. They want to thank him for what he did, saving their village from those maniacs. For the past week he has been stuck in the house. It was like he was basically in a prison. Everywhere he went over the village, well, he was swarmed everywhere as people kept on asking questions. Not even civilians, shinobis as well, curious about his power. As he became a sensation over one night. Well, he was already quite up there, because he was son of Minato, but now, it just got a lot worse. His siblings were not spared either. Seeing that they were his siblings, they had to have it too, and besides, they also know him. So yeah, they were also swamped. Naruto reached up and caught Mito's hand. What are you doing? He said. I thought if I slapped you it would happen, she said. Naruto threw her on the couch. As she frowned. Mean, she said. You were just about to slap me, said Naruto. To bring out your power. I know, said Menma. Why don't you meditate and try to focus on it? Why don't you guys do it? After all, we are siblings, said Naruto. So maybe you have it, you just hadn't bring it out yet. He's right, Menma. Come on, let's try. As the both of them sat down, Menma shrugging as he started to meditate as well. He knew that this would not really do anything, or anything would really happen to them. But he just could not tell them where his power truly came from. He had to keep that a secret, as he just didn't know how they would react. Knowing the things that he knew, knowing what happened to him on his birth, he was sure that news had gotten out about his power right now. And the entire elemental nation probably knew, well, what he can do. The things that he was capable of doing. Well, that wasn't even his 100%, but still. He was sure it had gotten out by now. He was probably one of the most talked about subject in the elemental nation as we speak. He didn't want this. All he wanted was just live a normal life. And he did not even deserve happiness. Naruto always closed himself off from certain things. Being interested in someone, being liked, he always provided a soft, friendly, external push towards people. Reason being, he knew that he doesn't deserve it. Unlike his brother and sister, unlike his father, unlike his mother, unlike any other shinobi on this entire continent, he has killed over 1 billion people. More than 1 billion, the numbers. He was afraid to even think it, so he just went with 1 billion. He knew that he was a monster because back then, he liked what he did. He enjoyed what he did. It was his purpose. It was what he lived for. But now, he tried not to let it bother him, but each night as he slept, he saw the faces of the crying infants. The people that begged him to spare them, but he just wiped them away. Hey, you alright? As Naruto felt a hand on his shoulder, he turned towards Mito. Yeah, I'm fine, he said. What's wrong? You're crying, she said. As she looked at him. Are you okay, she asked. Yeah, said Naruto. I was just thinking about what happened to Mom, he said, quickly coming up with something. Mito lowered her head. Yeah. I didn't see it fully myself. When I heard, I was so angry. I just broke down there. If it wasn't for some of the other Jonins, I don't think I'd be alive right now. Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder as he lifted her chin with his other hand. You know I would never let anything happen to you. She smiled at him. Neither would I, said Minma as he got to his feet. But you're both right. After hearing what happened to Mom, it was difficult. That is why we need to get stronger. And you need to learn how to control that power of yours, Naruto. We need to prevent something like this from ever happening again. We can't allow it. As Mito clenched her fists. Yeah, you just watch, world, she said. As she gripped Minma and gripped Naruto as well. The triplets are going to become the strongest in the entire elemental nation. And everything will finally be over. All the war, all the chaos. Everything will finally be at peace. As she smiled happily. Even though they were smiling, Minma and Mito were thinking about their brother. He had killed countless people. They knew that it was probably affecting him more than he let on because they had been woken up by him screaming in his bed. Saying, no, I don't want to hurt you. It broke their heart to see him like that. Yes, they had a tiny bit of jealousy that he was that powerful, but he was their brother. And something like that was common, to be jealous of your sibling. But they were sad. Their mother and father were currently at a council meeting at the moment, talking about the future of the village. They were sure that they were involved as well, most of Naruto. As Naruto lowered his head, as Mito wondered why he was crying. But sometimes he could be stubborn and did not share things with them. But still, she was worried about him. Time skip. Naruto sat in the backyard. His siblings had gone out. As he was alone. There was no one else here. This meeting seemed to be a very long one. His parents had been gone for some time now. The memories were getting worse. The nightmares. He didn't like it. Maybe it was because he didn't cause such a slaughter in such a long while. The full dose of the memories, the planets, they were all just coming back so much. He tried to blot them out, but as much as he tried, they were stuck with him. They had grained into his entire personality when he had been destroyed and turned into a glob and forced in a damn tube. If he didn't want a new life, he would have returned right back towards the Otsutsuki planet, and he would have rained hell down upon them. There was only one person that he could use against him. He didn't want her to die. She was the only one out of all of them that saw him as a person. And he knew that she was also the one that cared for him. And if push come to shove, she might even try to value her own life for his sake. But he wouldn't allow that. If her hatred for him was there, if her people knew that she was the only one that could stop him, they would never harm her, they would never mistreat her. Knowing that if she were to fall, their life would be forfeited. Because he would burn every single planet in this entire solar system. He would go on and destroy everything. As Naruto slapped himself in the face, he shouldn't be thinking like that anymore. Those times were gone. As he calmed himself, that is when someone appeared. Naruto glanced up. Oh hey, Perfect Sage. Kid, I need you to come with me. Where? Naruto asked. Back to the Toad summoning realm. As Naruto looked at him confused. Just come on, we'll be back soon. As Jiraiya created a clone, he will go tell your parents that I took you, okay? So they don't worry. Yeah, sure, said Naruto. Hold on, as Naruto held on to the man's arm. The next second they were gone. The moment they arrived, Naruto heard the toads croaking. And the smell was a lot different. And he could also feel the energy. The energy of nature. It was tingling in his system. He could feel the force all around him. He could almost reach out and touch it. Well, he could. But that would just look... Well, he would not do that. As he walked... Damn it, he cursed to himself. Jiraiya stepped back as Naruto's entire body started to glow. He was having a reaction to nature energy. His entire being was able to swallow power. And nature energy was not different from power. Might be more volatile and also more calming, but still. He calmed himself. As his body slowly started to return back to normal, there was so much of it. What the hell was that? Said Jiraiya. I don't know, said Naruto. Well, come on, said Jiraiya as he took Naruto with him. The man was rather serious. As Naruto has known him for a long time and he never was this serious. Hey, is the toad awake? Said Naruto. You know the big one that you told us about? Yeah, he's the one I'm bringing you to, said Jiraiya. They didn't take long as they arrived as Naruto saw two small toads. Ah, so you must be Naruto boy. Naruto chuckled a bit. What's so funny? Asked Shima. Well, the thought of a talking toad. I never thought it would look so amusing. What's that supposed to mean? Said Shima. Oh, I mean no offense, said Naruto. It's just, I've never really... Well, it's just strange, he said. Well then, she said. As Paul looked towards him. Come with us, Naruto boy. There's much to discuss. About what? Naruto asked. He kept on walking. We will be there soon. Naruto went quiet as he wondered if they knew something they should not. It was then that they arrived. The toad was large, as he sat on a makeshift throne. His eyes instantly focused on Naruto. The great elder toad just watched Naruto for a second before his tongue stretched from his mouth and grabbed the child and pulled him. Jiraiya moved forward, but the two toads told him to calm down. The elder toad would not harm him. As Naruto stood there, his arms at his side, the tongue wrapped around him as the toad placed him right on his throne on the handrests. He then looked down towards him. So you're Naruto, he said. Yeah, I am. Nice to meet you, You can call me Gamamaru. As Naruto nodded, nice to meet you, Gamamaru-sama, he said. I want to thank you again for letting me sign the Toad Summoning contract. Yes. It was a good thing that you did because if you had not, I wouldn't have foreseen this prophecy. Prophecy? Said Naruto. Oh yeah, I did hear my dad talking about Toad and prophecy once. You told Jiraiya-san over there. Did you not? Said Naruto. Yes, Gamamaru said. But the moment you touched the contract, I had another one. Usually, I don't have these in the short amount of time that I did. Well, how long ago did you tell Jiraiya that other prophecy? Many years ago. Well, that's a long time. Well, if you know how old I am, you wouldn't say that it was. Well, I guess you're right, said Naruto. So, what's going on? You're here. Your eyes. They were the same ones that I saw. Never before I had a vision so clearly. Death, destruction. On a wide scale. No continent, no nation. The entire planet. Reduced to ashes. With you at the center of it. Jiraiya boy has told me about your little episode within Konoha. The power that you have inside of you. I can see it, said Gamamaru. You can? Said Naruto. Yes. But there is something restraining it. You. What are you talking about? Or maybe your body is what restraining it. As Naruto put on a calm face. I don't understand. Well, it seems that you're not doing it on purpose. Subconsciously. Wait, are you saying that he hasn't truly tapped into the power that he has, said Jiraiya? Far from it, said Gamamaru. As he raised his finger, I would say, he's just using a tiny percentage. Your body does not fully allow you to tap into that power. A power that I can't even describe. It feels like chakra, but yet it's so different. So more volatile. So more powerful. So more dense. It is hard for me to even look at it. As we speak, nature energy is running into your body. What? Said Jiraiya. Wait, does that mean no? The side effect of him turning into a stone will not happen. Somehow his body is taking nature energy and converting it into that power source inside of him. It seems that this child would be able to activate the technique that you really use, Jiraiya, because of your large nose. Wait, are you saying that he can activate Sage Mode? If he tries, his body's already taking in the engine. All he has to do is cut it from the source and spread it through his body instead of going to that source inside of him. Wait, I can? Said Naruto. Yes. But heed my warning. The vision I saw. You will have to make a choice. I believe that the choice that you will make will guide the rest of the shinobi world to either peace and prosperity or total annihilation and chaos. They're coming. Who's coming? Said Naruto. I do not know, but there's a lot of them. And they will stop at nothing but to see you fall. So much death, so much destruction. Time skip. As both Naruto and Jiraiya returned back towards the yard, Naruto hadn't said a word since his talk with Ganmaru. You're right, kid. How can I be alright? You heard what he said, didn't you? Yeah, I did. It sounded quite bleak. And unfortunately, Toad Sage has never really been wrong before. It's his whole thing with the prophecies. Jiraiya reached out as he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Remember what he said. This, whatever it is, you will have a chance to stop it. So once we learn to control that power of yours, and not to mention you have your family, your village behind you, there will be nothing that we cannot stop. I promise you that, said Jiraiya. I would give my life any day for any of you kids and this village. And we will go through this and come through the other way. Alive, said Jiraiya. So let's break the Toad prophecy. Well, let's change it to the right one, shall we? Huh. You know how to be cheerful even in these glum moments, said Naruto. Well, Naruto, you and I both know that you're not like the other kids. Mito, while more collective and thoughtful, Menma, while you act like your brother, you on the other hand seem to just understand things far more than any of them your own age. By the time you were 8 years old, you were acting like a full-on grown-up. Your mother never truly had to baby you, but she just wanted to because she loved you so much. Yeah, said Naruto as he looked down. I understand that things might be confusing and hard right now, but I promise you, everything will work out in the end. As Jiraiya saw Naruto start to cry, he pulled the boy into a hug, knowing that that was hard on him, hearing all of that news. But that was not the reason why Naruto was crying. He knew who was coming for him. If he ran now and they were able to find this planet, knowing that it was his last place that he's been, they would butcher every single person here and make them suffer just to hurt him. But he could run, go somewhere and live somewhere else, and keep on running. No, he wouldn't leave them. After all they did for him, they were his family, they were his blood. He would never leave them. This time, if they come, he will fight with his last breath and die just to protect them. Ganmaru was right, he had a choice. To stop holding back his power and fought for everything he had when they came. Let them bring them army. Let they bring their top guns. He would drop them all. He made a promise to himself. Nothing will stand in his way. It was then that Naruto heard yelling as he broke the hug with Jiraiya. No way in hell! The voice of his mother came out rather angrily. Kushina, just let me know! This is not happening. They just want to use them. My babies are not going to be used by anyone. But Kushina, this can... I said no. They're just kids. They're too young for something like that. For their life to be decided like that. I won't allow it. It was then that they saw them. Oh, you're back, said Minato. Mom, are you okay? Yes, honey, I'm fine. I know something's going on, Mom. What's wrong, said Naruto. Ask your father, she said, glaring at Minato. Dad? Well, Naruto, I have received both letters from Kumo and the San. The both of them has made us a proposition. A way of us fixing a relationship permanently. You know that with the recent event, the San, thinking that we're gonna place them out in the open, that we're never gonna truly forgive them, so they just offer us something. Same for Kumo. They want to become full allies with us. They want to show that they are in it for the long run. As Jerry narrowed his gaze, wait, don't tell me, he said. Yeah. Wait, what's going on, said Naruto. Your father has gotten marriage proposals, and you want to think them over, said Kushina rather angrily. She didn't like this. For one thing, she hated Kumo. She was able to calm herself while they were here. Minato saying that she had to forget about the past, but still, she didn't like them. And now with the San recent attack, they want to use her babies. No, she didn't want that. Wait, with who? Said Naruto. You and Menma, said Minato. And who are the girls? Said Naruto. As he gave Minato a look. Well, they're... But guys, let me end episode right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Got all Krama powers before the Chunin exam, guys, and enjoy that. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all for helping and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. And yeah, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over in Making 2, which I hope you guys enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right out of here, guys. See you guys soon. Peace!